I'd like to welcome each and every individual to Voices of Integrity podcast for the Quantum Thinking Sales Bootcamp training. And today, in preparation for today's session, how do I transfer to all of you my love for numbers and statistics and data? Well, that's a great question, Mark. Thanks for thinking for us. Yeah, not a problem. Glad to help out. I think, Mark, the way you transfer, it's why do you think you love it so much? I mean, you're not a double analytic. And so I think the driver in me, I have high goals, big life vision, 8 billion people. It's a lot. It just is. And so it reveals, and the driver likes the truth. Often the amiable doesn't like the truth because it creates conflict. The analytic doesn't like the truth because then it reveals to them they're not so smart. It attacks their ego vigorously. The expressive doesn't like the truth because, well, that's going to take away their fun. And so it's like the driver seems to have this innate ability, I don't know, desire, for truth, even if it hurts. And so, when my kids were in school and if they didn't like a subject like history, it's like they're getting a D in history. It's like, okay, find somebody who loves history and then figure out, reverse engineer why they love history. And so, do any of you have any questions for me?
Why was that brought up, or how does? Sorry, I'm not connecting the dots.
Sure. No, absolutely. So you guys, you guys are, I don't know, 40% of your goal, in Dreamscape. And so that doesn't seem to bother you guys. Why would you say that, Mark? Well, I think when people are bothered by things, they talk about them. But is that really true? Maybe not the amiable, maybe not the, I don't know. Like it doesn't seem like you guys want that number. You guys don't want it. I wonder if it's because you guys think like employees. Well, what do you mean by that, Mark? That's a good question. Like employees think that if you have more sales, you're going to have more work. Business owners, they think, well, if I have more sales, I can delegate, systematize, contract out, hire someone, partner with someone. Like I can go ahead and, I'm not going to work more. I mean, in the short term, I might, but in the long term, I won't. I mean, shoot, I'll have as much time as Mark. Maybe if I really pay attention to him, I can do it, a lot sooner than he did too. And so Tom Kuhn says, know your numbers. Like president of the largest real estate franchise in the world. Don't listen to me. It's fine. But listen to Tom. Know your numbers. Do any of you guys really know your numbers?
No, probably not.
So, Tom says, hey, know your numbers. And so, let's take an example, so Nora and her numbers. So she's been tracking faithfully for, for a year now. And so she's got a good set of databases here and so of numbers. And so these come out. And so you'd think that a double analytic would really, know their numbers. But do double analytics really know their numbers? Do they really study their numbers? I don't know. I'm not a double analytic, so I don't know. So what does this mean here? So this is the year. And so this pressure point is 42% for the year. The pressure point two between talk to and appointments is 21%. Between appointments set and appointments kept is 72%. Between appointments kept and X-ray sold is 20%. And between, X-ray sold and action vision is 43%. So those are some pretty interesting numbers. So Tom Kuhn says what you do is when you know your numbers, then you turn it into math. It's no longer a mystery. So in Action Vision, after 3, 4 months of being on Action Vision, you get frustrated and you're like, "Urgh, like I can't do everything on here." Okay, well then lower your goal. Well, I don't want to lower my goal. Well, then you're gonna have to do everything that's on there. Well, I don't want to. I can't. Okay, well then lower your goal. Well, I don't want to lower my goal. Well, then figure out the work. So you have this internal battle mentally, and you go ahead and have this internal battle mentally, and then you go ahead and finally come to the fact that I'm going to get the goal. I'm going to increase my work and sacrifice and risk. And you become laser focused, and your brain starts to kick in, and you start to make dimensional jumps. And then you go ahead and say, I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to figure it out. And what that does is that gives you skill sets, stamina, brain power, mental, emotional, relational capability to deal with other things in life when other things get rough, when other things get hard. And if you're going to have a significant life, you're probably going to go ahead and have a lot of hard things. So, what does this data mean? This week, she's at 47%, 15%, 167%. Now, that's interesting. And then she's at 20%, and then she's at 100%. And it's like, huh, something's radically changed here. So, questions?
Why is her appointment set higher than anything
Right?
else?
Right? Like, see, when you study your numbers, you get good at picking up numbers. So, how long did I study this before, the meeting today? I studied this less than 3 minutes because I know what to look for. It's like on the construction site, you go ahead and know what to look for. I mean, I don't know what to look for, but you know what to look for on these things. So you get good at it. But as a business owner, you got to get good at looking at these numbers. You got to understand your numbers. Anybody know why? How does how does she have more appointments kept than set?
Don't know.
It's because Katrina, I'm pretty sure. So what she's doing is she's Katrina is setting appointments and Nora's doing the appointments. so so um so she's leveraging Katrina, which is interesting, isn't it? Why is it so interesting? Because that's what Mark said. Mark said, like, where you're going to make your money, where you're going to make your money is you're going to make your money based on, developing other people. Well, um, so is Nora developing Katrina? Not so much. How's that working? Well, Mark's developing Katrina, and Nora's gaining benefit. Uh-huh. Like, well, that's a pretty good gig. Um, Now, normally, a leader is going to get, it varies, but often 10% of what, somebody following or, doing on your own. And so a leader, so to get to 460,000 people, I had to recruit and build a team of 24 salespeople. And so the first, we had 5 people and I was still selling. And then we had 10 people and I was still selling. But then once I got 10, then I flipped from selling over into leadership and developing people full time. Before I had to sell and I had to like the trowel in one hand and the sword in the other. so so I had to do both. Fortunately, I was young, young kids. Like, so knowing your numbers and what's going on here and understanding these numbers is really, really important. Like, because your numbers are going to shift. Your income can go up, your sales can go up, but your sales closing ratios or other key ratios are going down. You think you're in a strong position, but you're actually in a weak position. It's like out in New York where the columns crumbled in the big building, office building that's doing a conversion from commercial office to residential. And it almost like it almost collapsed. Took it. There's some people. So in construction, you better know what you're doing. And the theory is they built, they went ahead and they built higher and they didn't support the beams lower. It kind of honestly seems a little bit of a rookie mistake, honestly. But I don't know. I mean, when we built the gazebo over the pond, I mean, that was my concern. And we had somebody who did building give us the wrong advice. Fortunately, didn't trust them. Asked for a second or third opinion. Is this going to work? Because it doesn't seem like it's going to. So know your numbers. And the more numbers you can get, the better you have, because as your business grows, that leads into Luke's question, kind of, sort of ish. Luke, what you got for today?
So when do you know once you're ready for an office location and I guess get into that world?
Well, I would start as soon as you think about it. I would start, pursuing different options. Have you pursued the option with Jason yet?
No, not
So I don't know. I would pursue that option. I would pursue multiple options because you don't know which one's going to be the best option. So start pursuing options. I would start looking, and so I'd start looking because you're going to gain experience in looking, and you're going to look at what it is. And so, on a 1 to 10, like on simple to complex to simple principle, this is why these principles are so important. Like I'm just saying, like, it's hard for me to convey to you all the importance of understanding these natural laws. So the simple to complex to simple principle, you know, it's like you have these roller coasters up and down. So you have up and then down and then up. And so, well, how do you even those out? Maybe not make them, not eliminate them, but how do you reduce that? Move to complex similar sooner. Reduce the time you're in complex, meaning figure out how to be complex without the complexity. Use the 80-20 rule to find out the best of complexity and then master. And so have a great plan, prepare, have the right people and be focused. So right now, there's more and more pressure that's being built. You see that, right, Luke?
yes, or yeah, I
Yeah.
think so.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I'm feeling the pressure. So more vehicles, more business, more crews, more of everything. And so you're feeling more pressure. If you wait until the last minute, until you're forced into it, you're probably going to have a far more costly expense, and you're likely to make a not so good a decision because you're forced into it. So start researching it out, time block it. 1 hour a day, 1 hour a week, 2 hours a week, whatever you do to start pursuing it. Put together a spreadsheet and start looking at it. Now, what's your ulterior motive of this, Luke?
Well, it seems like a couple things. Our tools are kind of all over the place in different locations and
Okay,
stuff like
that's
that.
yeah, that's going to appeal. So what Luke's doing is selling. He's throwing stuff out that, but that's not the real reason. There's a real reason, the big reason. There's something that's more than 51%, but that's good. Tools, okay, good. And you put that down in a spreadsheet, Luke. So you say this is the reasoning. Okay, good. What else?
Um, the biggest thing I think for me is I don't get to see the guys, and I struggle getting a connection with them.
Right. I mean, if you hadn't had a video, you could see, I mean, I don't know if you can see me, I can't see you. So if I could see you, I mean, is it just seeing people or do you have to actually be around them and touch them, hug them? I don't know. Like, do you have,
No, not touch them or hug them or like interact with them daily. Like I don't know how to explain it or
well, yeah, no, you interact with them daily by being out, out on the job with them working. So what you do, Luke, is you're an expressive. You got to be with people. You got to be doing something with them. Well, then get out on the job and be with them. Well, I don't want to do that. Okay, well, you know, not saying, not saying you're a princess and you want your cake and eat it too. And so, but is there a way to do it? I don't know. Maybe there is. So being with hanging around talking and all that takes time and energy. Is it worth it? Well, for the expressive it is. Yeah, for sure, they love doing that. For the amiable, oh yeah, absolutely. For the analytic, maybe. For the driver, no, I'd rather probably be on my own, and so different people want different things. There's nothing wrong with what you want, you just need to know what it is and realize, yeah, how do I manage that? How do I look through that? Kenny, what you got? Katrina, what you got?
I was just gonna bring out that LMI report, but is that what you just showed us earlier?
Probably. I
Okay,
mean,
'cause yeah, you had just said to bring that up.
yeah, probably.
So that's what I was gonna ask you about. Otherwise, I don't have anything.
So, like Kenny, when he first started his own business, he would call me and he would say, "Hey, can I just come over to your house and work from your house?" I'm like, "Sure." And he's like, I'm like, "Is there something you want to do? Like, is there something you need from me?" "No, I just want to be in your house working." "Okay." Like, why? I don't know. Just being around you makes me feel productive. Like, seems to make me more productive. And so, which was fine. I'm like, okay, cool. So, like, last week it really ticks me off. Like, you went down, you had 1,321 points, and then you went ahead and, dropped down to 1,000 points. I was thinking this week we were going to be at 1,500 points. So the double analytic will come up with the reasons why you're not at 1,500 points. But what you need to do is shift into um, driver and expressive mode. Put the double analytic in a closet, get the driver. You're going to get to 1,500 points. You're going to get to 1,500 points. You got to have steel resolve. It's how you're going to get to your goals. Like, you will not be denied. Those 1,500 points, you're going to get to those 1,500 points. I mean, these first 2 weeks you worked from, like, I don't know if, I mean, I don't, like, you worked in the river, level. I was in the upper level. So I don't know that we even saw each other in person, but you were working. So is there something about just working in the building with Mark? Am I more productive? I don't know. I don't know. But you got to get that steel resolved. You got to go ahead and get it to where I've got to figure out how to do this. No, no, like, I'm going to do this. You become locked on that. Does that make sense, Katrina?
Yeah, definitely.
Congratulations on your sale. I wish, like, I can't wait till we have all the data. I think you might have set a new record.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I think you might have set a new record, a significant record. So when I look back and I saw it, it's the first Monday that were working full time ish. And so, I mean, and so, or the second week that you started. Like, you wouldn't have gotten that sale if you hadn't gotten made calls on your first day, I'm pretty sure, because it built up. And so when you look back, that's from 2 weeks ago. You got that sale from making calls 2 weeks ago. And so, how do you train your brain to make that one extra call, to make that five extra calls, to make that 10 extra calls? How do you go ahead and work more efficient, more focused? How do you do all of that? Make sense?
Yeah.
And then push me to get that ad. I got to get that ad in the paper for you because you need two other people. Because if you're developing two other people, they're coming in 3 to 5 weeks after you. And so you'll work harder, because you're not only now responsible for your success, but you're responsible for their success until they can become responsible for their own success. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Kevin, what you got, sir?
So yesterday you said people who trust each other will submit to each other, and then there'll be a better workflow. I was wondering, if you trust people more, do they trust you more back, or how does that work?
A lot of times it doesn't, sadly. I woke up this morning and I'm telling you, my mind was on fire. I'm pretty sure that there's going to be a whole section just on, um, just on trust the integrity of the system. Like Katrina asked me, first person that's ever asked me in 62 years, like she's studying the future. And she's like, how do I not become overconfident? How do I have a childlike faith? And so I'm pretty confident that there's going to be um, a whole section, a topic on trust the integrity of the system. So what we want to do, Katrina, is we want to number these and then probably put, so, um, have you read the white paper on trust, Kevin?
I don't think so, no.
So, Katrina, you can help Kevin. Kevin can help you by going to the white paper library. And do you just jump to the trust? You might. Um, or do you go through and say, okay, we need to do 1-1 and 2, and you can go into here now. You can go into here now and go into the white paper library. And so in the white paper library, phase one. And so you go through these, but then you want to read them too, not just listen to them. And so on here, on here, there's a white paper on trust. And so that will help you. Like we trust ourselves when we shouldn't and don't trust ourselves when we should. We trust other people when we shouldn't and don't trust other people when we should. And so is having confidence good, Kevin?
Yes, I would say so.
Is confidence good, everybody?
It depends
On what?
if the person should be confident.
Right. So if we're confident when we shouldn't be confident, that's not a good thing. And so, where is the trust here? So here is the income machine. And so thinking differently, and then trust. It has a whole white paper on trust and when do we trust ourselves? And so there's an individual that I've mentored, and this individual trusts themselves. It's fascinating. They said, "Trust me, Mark." And I trusted them on one situation. It's not working out like they wanted it to. And then then they, in a sales situation, trust me in this. Trust me, Mark. I did. It didn't work out. And they haven't come back and they haven't been humble and said, Mark, I might have been wrong. Maybe. So it's like, okay. And so, ego gets in the way. And so it's like, and it was there was some big sales. And so the challenge is people will rationalize, so they make a decision. They want to control things. And they do, they get to control it, and then it doesn't work. And they don't take ownership of that. And so we're working on this. I've been working on this for over 20 years. And so just because you don't trust some part, like some parts of the system are not trustworthy, other parts of the system are. And so how do you go ahead and identify the parts that aren't, and how do you identify, the parts that are? So this individual, trusted them on multiple occasions, and it hasn't worked out for them or other people. And it's like, okay, so further questions, Kevin?
No.
So Katrina gets the wonderful benefit of figuring out where to put the the thing on trust. Do we create a whole category just on trust the integrity of the system? My guess is we do. And so but where should it go? What channel should it be in? What group should it be in? There's a lot of stuff that goes on behind the scenes to deliver to all of you the highest, the most amazing experience possible. And to go ahead and continue to fine tune, like, what should you be trained in? What's the order that you should be trained in? How do we take an hour training and condense it down to a half an hour, and then a half an hour to 10 minutes? How do we do that? It's a good question. Anybody else have anything else?
Mark, so what videos are you referring to, or what podcasts are you referring to for trusting the integrity of the system?
So we're going to have to build those.
Okay.
Yeah, so we're going to have to build those. Like tomorrow, it's your voice in my headset about friendship. And so I don't know, are we going to shoot one on there? The white male over 50. Are we going to shoot one on there? Are we going to shoot one, in the virtual coffee connection that's coming up in another hour? So it might go in two locations. And, but yeah. And so, Kevin, we're working on that, buddy. And you might have insight into that. Like, it's fascinating that you're asking that question. And so there's a bunch of stuff in it, but how do we train people, and how do you have the decision-making process, the mental decision-making process to go through it? And so it's going to be interesting. If you have any questions on this, connect with your art mentor, and make sure you're helping your two art buddies. As you help them, they help you. And together we can accomplish so much more than we ever could on our own. Have an amazing day. Bye-bye.